Greetings from Pompey. Seestar decided to carry out a firmware upgrade, so don't know what to expect. And the sky is still bright, obviously. I'm hoping that we will see the Milky Way in all its glory tonight. In the meantime, as soon as Seestar finishes its shenanigans, we'll go to M13. Okay, we have Polaris. That's all we have for now. We should be able to go to Great Hercules Cluster, M13. Something not right. There's something not right at all here. Stellarium is showing wrong location, wrong time, wrong everything. Hello, John. I'm struggling in trying to convince Stellarium that time zone is not Chicago. Okay, we are. At least Seestar knows when we are where we are. Had a very good visit to Green Bank Observatory. I sent the film to be processed. It should be back next week. And Seestar just upgraded its firmware and it shows. Wow. Why is this red? I don't know. I don't know why it dragged itself out of center. No, I used Walmart. I don't know that I have any CVS near me. Walmart will throw in a thumb drive, which is good, so I don't have to scan all the pictures. I have no idea what Seestar is doing. All right, that's more like it. Yeah, the interesting part of the visit was the total absence of radio signals. I had to preload all the maps into the Tesla, and no cell towers for miles on end. The quiet zone is indeed fairly large. Probably one of the more interesting anecdotes deals with a van that they have to detect any interference. Hello, Toast. And one night their big telescope was overwhelmed with RFI. They sent the van out looking for the source, and they found it. It turned out to be somebody's new electric toothbrush. So they took away the toothbrush, and everything went back to normal. I'm liking the M13 now that Seestar has decided to behave. Yeah, happy very long day. Yeah, we were offline mode. Oh, about an hour and a half on each side. The road was extremely windy, going up and down the Blue Ridge Mountains. Green Bank is nestled in the valley between the Appalachians and the Blue Ridge to shield it from RFI from Washington, D.C. and the rest of Virginia. So that was reasonably good. Stellarium is just driving me nuts. It's a very pretty area, very windy. And for the first time since I got my Tesla, I watched the battery levels go up instead of down as I was driving from, made it up to 3,500 feet before I started going down towards Green Bank. And it was fun watching it charge instead of discharge. When I got there, I bought the camera from them to make sure there is no disagreement on what's allowed and what's not. And then I went for a run. It was about a 5-mile run. I did not have my watch on me or phone or anything once we got into the quiet zone. But it was very enjoyable. I had a 27 exposure film in the camera. I needed 28. The very last picture I wanted to take was not to be taken. I had an up-close and personal look at the big telescope. The antenna, the dish, is literally 2.4 acres. It is 100 meters in diameter. What is this? Something very bright. Whoa. Must be a plane. I could have used a mechanical watch. But I was not too bothered. I enjoyed being free from the watch. I kept looking at my wrist every few minutes. They have a nice exhibit of Hello, 1990. Well, we're glad you joined us. We're waiting to see what else we can look at tonight. They have little signs, posts, and flags, starting with the Sun, and then Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. By the time you get to Jupiter, you're moving inside the zone, and they are spaced accordingly. The distance from Mars to Jupiter is about the same as distance from Mars to the Sun, and then it doubles and it doubles. So they have Saturn and then Uranus and Neptune and Pluto. By the time I got to Pluto, it was time to turn back. John, you might appreciate that. They have an 85-foot dish that's no longer being used, and vegetation is growing all over it, in it, everywhere. I asked if I can take it home. They were not very receptive to my suggestion of dismantling it and taking it. But hey, I tried. New. Looks like our reception is not too good here. I learned a lot about the hardware itself, and that they have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to detect extraterrestrial intelligence, not accepting the basic premise that if there is intelligence out there, then they'll be too intelligent to want to contact us. The high-tech tour was interesting. One of the engineers who has worked on the big scope for 35 some years, his entire career, gave us a nice tour, took us into the lab and then into the control room. The big scope has 16 wheels, moves on a track. It takes it moves 10 degrees per second. Each of those 16 wheels is carrying 1.1 million pounds. So it's a 17 million pound scope. Hi, Bill. Bill, I made it to Green Bank last weekend, to the Green Bank Observatory. Took lots of pictures. Sent the film to be developed at Walmart. When it comes back next week, we will have a session to go over it. I was telling John that driving through the quiet zone was an interesting experience with the Tesla. I had to preload the maps and then go into airplane mode the whole way. After the federal government and the state of West Virginia declared that whole area as a radio quiet zone, people were allowed to move in, but under strict conditions of what they can and cannot have. And they said one of their most interesting incidents, the big scope was being jammed with heavy RFI, so they sent their van to look for the source, and they found it. Turned out to be somebody's new electric toothbrush was jamming the big scope. Seestar just installed the firmware upgrade, and I have no idea what it's doing. I don't know that it knows what it's doing. Seems stuck at 0. Hello? Bill, they have an 85-foot telescope that's no longer being used and vegetation growing through it. I asked if I can take it home. They were not amused. I was actually prepared to call in reinforcements from upstate New York to come down with trailers and trucks and dismantle it and take it home, but they said no. I don't know why they said no. All right, this one has stopped for no reason. Not much is working here. Wow. Okay. Well, there we go too. That scope is not happy. We're going to search for something. Let's see if we can go back to Polaris. Yeah, it's not showing a go-to. Ah! It got disconnected. Sitting right outside the window. It is still on M13. Well, okay. Will it go to M13? The reboot option is useful, John. I was going to try the reboot, but it seems to be back into action. Do we still have the DBE on? Yes. Okay, so we did not lose these. So, Bill, when I got there, early in the morning. The funny part was I stayed in Harrisonburg, east of the Blue Ridge Mountains, because the Microtel Inn has free Tesla charger for people staying there. So I just plugged in the charger, the Tesla, went to sleep, got up in the morning and drove. Halfway between Harrisonburg and Greenbank is Franklin, West Virginia. It has a very, very, very nice small diner. So I decided to stop there for breakfast. And as I walked into the diner, there were literally 40 men sitting, all ages, from 20s to 80s, all very fit. Not a single overweight guy among them. They all turned and looked at me. And that's when I realized I was wearing my Gettysburg Marathon shirt, not realizing I was deep into Confederate country. So I quietly ordered the special, left a good tip, and got out of there. But food was very good. And that's when I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, in main streets of many cities, they have flags hanging of veterans and other military personnel from that particular community. In Franklin, West Virginia, all those flags hanging were of Civil War heroes. From Franklin, wasn't too far before I reached maximum altitude of 3,500 plus feet, and then descended towards Greenbank. Very windy road. And Tesla did very, very well with autopilot without cell connectivity. And I charged the batteries while rolling it down from top of the hill all the way into the valley. Got there just around 9:30. Bought a camera, a disposable camera from the gift shop to make sure I had the right one, and then went for a 5-mile run among the telescopes. I was alone. It was glorious. The weather was absolutely perfect. Came up close and personal, took pictures, documented what I could, and then food in the cafeteria was outstanding, very, very good. Everything was being cooked fresh. And then the high-tech tour, an engineer with 35 years experience, he joined right after college as an electrical engineer and never left. Plans to retire in 2 years. He gave us a good tour of the big scope and then the control room. Some of the funny tidbits is, I mentioned the big scope has 16 wheels moving on a track at an angle, so it's not digging through. And each of the wheels carries 1.1 million pounds in weight. The scope weighs 17 million pounds. The surface of the dish itself is 2.4 acres. So it would take Limo a day and a half to mow it if it had been grass. And it moves at about 10 degrees per second when they move it. It moves fast. It is an alt-az mount. They do have one equatorially mounted scope. They have 140-footer, 85-footers. Took pictures of all of them. But the big monster is just an awesome sight. Each of the wheels, each of the 16 wheels has a microphone next to it. And from the control room, while the scope is moving, they can listen to the sound of individual wheels and thereby detect any issues before they materialize. Things like rolling over a woodchuck, which apparently it does quite a bit. Did not see any snakes on my run. That thing is stuck at 0 again. Don't know if we lost connection to the scope or what. Okay, it's moving again. Or the firmware has gotten slower and stacking. Just anecdotally, more than anything else. The group that went on the high-tech tour varied widely in understanding of radio astronomy. We had one PhD with us who knew a lot, and the rest of them were just happened to be visiting or in awe and trying to learn as much as they can. I did take pictures of their interferometer, a whole bunch of scopes, smaller telescopes. When we asked the question if they foresee building another big one, the answer was a categoric no, because they can achieve anything and everything that they want from the big scope with an array of smaller scopes. John, right now, the only primary mission is research. People can book remotely. They submit proposals, actually, to use it for an hour or a week or a day. And right now it's being used worldwide for research. They do have fellowships for scientists to come and live there. They have accommodation so they can live for a few weeks and work on it directly, or they can access it remotely. The control room is manned, staffed 24/7, and depending on the time slots that you book, they will support you. They'll move the scope to where you want it, and they set all the parameters. But the primary mission now is NSF, National Science Foundation, driven through a fellowship program and through grants and proposals from all over the world for people to use it for slices of time. Hello, Otto. I made contacts, and I did chat with the engineer there about my plan for multiple wavelengths, and I will probably reach back to them as needed. It was a good visit, definitely worth it, especially that I had time to walk among the telescopes, and I was there from about 9:30 to 11:45, just over 2 hours, wandering through the scopes, through the big telescopes. Pretty much, John, yeah. You get time on one or the other. It has the primary mission is science. I did notice that when we entered the control room, there were several An entire section of the control room was dark. All the monitors were turned off. And I've been in many places where before visitors come, people turn off lots of monitors that may be doing sensitive things that they don't want the average Joe off the street to see them. I have not visited the VLA in New Mexico. I came close to visiting Haystack in Massachusetts. They have 2 open houses per year, one in the spring, one in the fall. And I received an invitation to apply for the spring one. And they said they issue the tickets on a first-come, first-served basis. And as soon as the ticket issuance opens, they will let us know. And as soon as the email popped in my inbox, I jumped in there to book a ticket, and they said all gone. So we'll keep an eye for the fall one. Or I just drive there and knock on the door. I've seen the VLA from satellite imagery, but have not visited it. The M13 is going to be become problematic soon because it's high up. And then when I was done with the tour at around 5:15 p.m., got in the Tesla and drove all the way to Lewisburg, West Virginia, before I could get cell connectivity again. So it was about an hour and a half of driving without any cell coverage. No cell towers, no radio towers, no TV towers. I missed many opportunities to visit the VLA. I used to go to Albuquerque a lot, but always found myself on a tight schedule. Probably the most interesting tidbit I will share with you, gentlemen, is that a simple request to Elon Musk, resulted in every Starlink turns off its transmitters when it is over Greenbank. To maintain true radio silence, every single satellite is programmed to shut down its transmitters when it is overhead. I don't know how far of a exclusion zone they have, but when I asked if they have any problems with satellites, they said usually yes, but the only exception is Starlink. They have an agreement where they turn off their transmitters. I do not have that ability yet, John. My son does. He put a roaming Starlink Mini on his Cybertruck and is able to be connected. The next generations of Tesla will replace cell receivers with Starlinks, but not mine, not yet. You probably know that Starlinks are also the only satellites that can duck, as in fold all the antennas and everything, and it becomes thin, razor thin, to reduce the probability of collision with other satellites. And apparently they do that several hundred times a month because of the crowding of both space junk and satellites. Who is lost in starry skies? That's one of our buddies. Hello. Yeah, whenever the Space Force, their conjunction. Hi, Gina. We were talking about New Mexico. That's different from Arizona, right? Yeah, they are pretty flat. I mean, you probably saw the Pez dispenser that pushes them out. But they fold the solar panels, they fold everything in when Space Force tells them that that they're going to be within 3 miles, I think, of another object. They just fold in until the conjunction window is passed. This is a very nice M13. Okay, before they get too low, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off, but I'm going to see if we can get M16. $4K, are you talking about the encoder for the stream or the telescope? The YouTube is streaming at 4K. Scope, let me see. This is the noise. Compare. Wow. Okay, that DBE does a job. Are you kidding me? Software update ready to install. $4K is turned on. We will come back to the clusters momentarily before we lose it completely. 18 degrees, it's already low enough, but let's see. We should be okay for a few minutes. Hello, Matthew. We're expecting a clear night tonight. Are you guys telling me that Florida is not clear tonight? Hello, Seattle. Hello, Pixel Flip. Glad you're joining us. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Yeah. Since Zena has not asked yet, I expect to be on till about midnight. Ran 16 miles this morning, and very soon rigor mortis is gonna set. All right, the pillars are starting to show. Yeah, the noise is going to give us a gorgeous image here. Pillars of creation are very clear. I was thinking exactly the same, John. Time to go brew some tea. I'm surprised everybody is here. Don't you guys have some football to watch? Ah, okay. Long time ago, when I was an undergraduate student studying engineering, I had a professor who used to listen to British football on the radio, shortwave radio. That's how he followed the games. I cannot imagine listening. Actually, some people used to watch cricket on the radio or listen to cricket on the radio, which is even less exciting. Yes, yes. For those who are new to astronomy and may not have heard of the pillars of creation, at the very center of the image, that funny shape here is referred to as the pillars of creation. They are 7,000 light years away and spanning about 4 to 5 light years in height. It is a dense star-forming region, acting as a cosmic nursery where new stars are actively born. Every weekend when I was in England, they had betting was going wild. But the biggest things to bet is if you can identify which 8 games will end in a draw, but not a 0-0 draw, but a score draw, 1-1 or 2-2 or 3-3. In the event that there are exactly 8 such games in the entire country on the entire schedule, and you happen to pick those 8, The winnings were literally in the millions of pounds. So the object here is to guess which games were going to end in a score draw, not a scoreless draw. I haven't checked the dropped frames. The update happened this evening. Yeah, good night, Gina. Stack 31 ignored 0. So we have 100% stack rate. Does this display stay on? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Toggled it away. I noticed it's spending a lot more time stacking images than it did before. When it gets to 0, it seems to stop. Not this time, but sometimes it stops there for very many seconds. This is Altair, Bill. I don't think it's a planet. Yeah, it appears to be Altair. John, you think it's taking time to remove trails as opposed to dropping frames? Bill, I stand corrected. This is Vega, actually, not Altair. The Skycam is rotated a little bit. Yeah, I need to rotate the Skycam just a little bit. And the big bright thing on the right side is the moon, even though it is 41% phase. But we're starting to see a semblance of the Milky Way on the Skycam. The Eagle Nebula just kicked into high gear. It's looking nice. I took the Dwarf 2 with me to Greenbank, and I was able to set it up outside the radio quiet zone and took pictures of the big scope. Don't see any mention of trails here. Okay, next capture will go with expert mode then. Bill, I did not check that. Let me see. Green Bank appears to be Bortle 3. Yeah, according to the light pollution map, it is Bortle 3. Hello, Jacob. I'm going to try to show you some pictures that I took with DWARF of the Green Bank Observatory. All right, let's see how we can add this here. This is a picture of the big telescope. Have not had a chance to do much editing with these. This is the swing arm. Unfortunately, DWARF did a much closer close-up than I would have liked. This is the structure of the dish itself. And they're always examining every single element there. They had a 300-foot telescope that collapsed because one of the elements suffered metal fatigue. 1998, I believe it just collapsed. And they have one person who just likes climbing those stairs all the way up every day. There's the dish. Bill, precisely, it is sitting in a valley between the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the Appalachians. I climbed all the way to 3,500 feet and then dropped all the way back down to about 2,000. So the surface of this dish is 2.4 acres. And this is the part that moves it, that swings it. It can, altitude-wise, move from 5 degrees to 95 degrees. And azimuth, it can rotate 450 degrees. This is the arm. We're going to go up the arm. And that is the reflector. And they have, I believe, 8 different sensors in it at different wavelengths. So they can switch in whichever one they want to receive. The diameter of this reflector, I believe, is 8.5 feet. And yeah, this is the mountain. These are the Appalachians protecting it from EMI. And these are the stones near the pond. And Bill, you can see the red lights on top for you guys not to run into it. Hey, Jacob, I learned that Starlink turns off its transmitters whenever they are over Greenbank. Oh, thank you. We can fix that. Sorry about that. We will run through them again. That is probably the best picture. You can see the circular part that allows it to swing altitude-wise. That is the dish. Jacob, they have a van that can go chasing any RFI, and one night the big scope was being jammed big time, and they sent the van, and it eventually found the source. Turned out to be somebody's new electric toothbrush. GPS does not, Bill. I verified that I can receive GPS signal. Actually, I was seeing lots of satellites. So the more impressive pictures I took with the disposable camera. Should be back next week, and then I'll put together a presentation and we'll go through it. Yeah, my only Slight disappointment was that Dwarf 2 was zoomed in too much. I would have liked it to be just a little bit farther out. No, not UL listed. Bill, I don't know that they have the ability to turn them on and off as easily as Starlink does. And this is I mentioned that the reflector up there, they can have one of 8 different wavelengths receiving it. Yeah, Gemini confirmed that GPS does not have an exclusion zone over Greenbank, but Starlink does. The national radio quiet zone is 13,000 square miles. And Gemini is telling me that the Starlink exclusion is only 0.5% of that 13,000 square miles. And the remaining 99.5% is good. So they're turning it off literally over just the immediate observatory and not the entire radio quiet zone. Possibly, maybe. Okay, we have a trail in the image that Starlink did not touch. Sorry, Seestar. Too many stars. That line down there appears to be a trail of some sort. So it has discarded 2. Well, if it's a plane, it will have been very, very high altitude because it's extremely faint. Unless they did trail removal and that's what's left. Thanks, Bill. It's probably a satellite that they tried to delete the trail. So time to see what the noise will do to this image. The difference appears to be just in the surroundings. The center is good. Wow, this is nice. I'd like to take a look at IC1287 next, still in the vicinity before we move too far out of that part of the Milky Way. Let's see if it does justice to 1287. Okay. There's the aircraft line eliminating. Okay. Let's see what it gives us. Did not do too well. I mean, there is the very first frame, and it has a trail in the top left corner, which it did not delete. Okay, it deleted it. DBE still on. It deleted the trail that was in the top left corner. So Bill has been put out of a job. Four stacked, four ignored. Not a good track record so far. Yes, it did dump it. Mhm. Not enough stars in this picture. I know we have clouds moving in, but this part of the sky is clear. Lots of starlings in the area, according to Stellarium. Matthew, for some reason, Dwarf 3 is no longer, after the latest upgrade, no longer allowing me to take pictures in land mode. The delay between what the telescope is looking at and what the app is displaying has become between 10 and 15 seconds. I tried multiple tablets and they will have the same bad performance. When I send it somewhere, it moves immediately, and then I have to sit and wait for the image to update on the display. But I don't have this problem with the Dwarf 2. That's why I took the Dwarf 2 with me to Virginia, to West Virginia. Not yet, but I may be able to demonstrate some of that. Give me a second. I'm going to bring the Dwarf 3 on. Okay. Voila. This is where we are. And if I try to click here, the scope has moved, and we wait, and then it moves. We're going to click here. Scope has moved, and then the picture catches up. And if I use this extremely jumpy and slow. See how slow it is? Oh, the email type to DWARF is pompeyobservatory@gmail.com. Okay, turned off tracking. As you can see, if I'm moving around, and it so this is my setup. So it has been very frustrating, but DWARF 2 still does the job. General mode. We double click here and we wait. Okay, double click on the blue. Now the scope moves immediately, and you can see that the telephoto part of the picture updated before the wide angle. Okay, here, if I go to the top corner, notice how tele updates and then landscape updates or wide angle updates. I'm going to go back to the nice blue diagram. This one updated, and then that one updated. So if I move my hand up, down, yeah, don't know. I haven't had a chance to do much debugging, Matthew. The DWARF 2 works. Unfortunately, I did the update, the firmware update, just before my trip to West Virginia. So I left DWARF 3 behind and took DWARF 2. Let me show you the comparable performance of DWARF 2. All right, let's see if we can switch dwarfs easily. Okay, this is dwarf 2 now. And as you can see, it's a lot smoother. And if I double click here, moves immediately. Double click there, moves immediately. Yes, I tested both, Matthew, both direct and station mode. I mean, here it is very smooth with dwarf 2. Let's focus this guy. Yeah, this is the dwarf 2. I'm very happy. Yeah, I will do some more debugging, but for now, by the way, the Dwarf 3 works perfectly. It worked perfectly at night doing astro imaging. No problem there. I did some the North American nebula. It came out just gorgeous. No problem there. It's just the landscape imaging. And here it allows me to switch between them, which is nice. So same setup, same app. All right, time to put them. Okay, there we go. Connection success. And we go back. And if we double click on the same thing, and we wait. Yep. I'm turning it off. I'll do more debugging tomorrow. I was expecting more excitement from the IC1287. I will, Matthew, as soon as I'm able to get a solid independent video of it, or I could use it to record a video. We'll see. Don't know if Messier 8 is going to be visible from here. We'll see. For some reason, we're losing the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like my plans to go till midnight have been cut short by 40 minutes. The sky has clouded up on me. We can see the moon and a couple of bright stars, but that's about it. I'm going to try to go to M8. See if we can get it, but this explains the high rate of frames being discarded. Thanks, John. We're going to see if we don't get M8. Looks like we do have something going on. So much about eliminating trails, or is it generating trails? Thanks, John. You too. All right, we seem to be back in business. We're going to stay in business while we can. That's new. Target offset detected, recentering. Good. Chart astronomy, what time zone are you from? Hello, Mike. Hey, Mike, I was telling everybody that I made it to nowhere in Pompey, New York, but it's going to be a good morning in 34 minutes. That's okay. So chart that puts you somewhere around Germany then? Mike, I made it finally down to the Green Bank Observatory last weekend. Took pictures, and as soon as the film develops, we will have a special session to go over them. Okay. Welcome from Italy. Cloud notwithstanding, this image of the Lagoon Nebula is coming out nicely. I'm using the Seestar S50 on the left, and my Skycam is on the right. Depending on the day, we can use a DWARF 2 or DWARF 3. We can use a Stellina, Vaonis, or the big scope. I have an 11-inch Edge HD Celestron. Also have multiple radio telescopes that we have been using. Guys, I'm still rebuilding the igloo. It's almost done. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't blow away again. It survived yesterday's thunderstorm, so I'm happy with that. The scopes go back in it soon. Yeah, in a few minutes we will do a enhance. I'm curious to see if it's going to improve on this. This is only 3 minutes of stack. Not too bad. 19 stack, 2 ignored. Not bad. Yeah, it's going to be igloo too. I'm fastening the PVC posts now, and tying the tarp to the railings of the deck to prevent it from not just flying, but from acting as a sail for the rest of the igloo, which it did last time. Yeah, Chert, we also have a Limo lawnmower with a camera that we're going to try to use for astrophotography. And I have used my Tesla to do some sky imaging from its cameras. So no, I have not done a video of the construction, Bill. I will try to do some. After this morning's successful 16-mile run, I did what every good runner does, and that is I entered another marathon. So I have Sackett's Harbor and Harrisburg on the schedule for now. We'll see how many more I can add this year. Bill, I may have told you the story, but before my 50th state marathon, I had 2 kidney stones, and I was banned from traveling to Texas to run them, so I started shopping around until I found a urologist who runs marathons. He had run Chicago in not much slower than 3 hours, so I called him, convinced his people to put me through to him. When I told him my dilemma, that I had a marathon in 3 days and 2 kidney stones, he said, "Of course you're running it." And he prescribed all sorts of drugs to me. So I was the happiest man at the start of the marathon. Passed the 2 stones at mile 15, finished the marathon, finished my 50 states. And the reason I'm telling you the story is, on my run this morning, I ran into that urologist. He's been retired for a while. Stopped and chatted. He turned 91. He's 91 years old and walks 8 miles every morning. And he was walking at a good clip. It's okay, Matthew. When I saw that 91-year-old walking 8 miles every day, and the funny thing is, he asked me, "Are you still running marathons?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You know they are not good for you." I said, "Yes, Doc." Matthew, I promised that I will do half marathons when I grow up. Apparently they are easier. Hey, I am at 88. I want to get to 100 so I can get a vanity license plate for the car which says 100X262. Well, as the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get running. That's what got me started running when work got tough. This is a beautiful lagoon. Yes, I did. He wanted me to bring them back so he can analyze them. I was not going to go digging in the porta potty to look for them. Believe it or not, Matthew, I got 2 of my marathons free because I was the first from New York State to register for them. And many marathons give free entry to the first runner from each state. So my Kalamazoo, Michigan marathon was free, and my College Station, Texas was free. My personal physician, who told me not to go to Texas under any circumstance, I sent him a picture from the finish line. To say that he was not amused is an understatement. Yeah, Disney is very expensive. I have, as a matter of principle, I refuse to pay more than $100 for entry fee to a marathon. Thanks, Chart. Safe travels, and please subscribe. Bill, if you look at the statistics, marathon runners are 6 times more likely to develop kidney stones than the normal or the average population. I used to get kidney stones about once every 7 years. I haven't had any since 2014, so 12 years now. Knock on wood, It was a change in diet that finally reduced the likelihood, and a more systematic hydration. I drink a lot more than I used to. Yeah, sometimes I wonder what's the difference between a rock and a fire hydrant because my dogs treat them the same. Bill, there is a plane passing. I don't know if you can see it through the clouds. Matthew, some serious transformation happens in the body at around 20 miles. And that's when the body switches from burning brown fat to burning white fat. And the amount of oxygen necessary to burn the white fat is about twice. That's when what people refer to as hitting the wall. And a lot of science has gone into the drinks that those people who ran marathons under 2 hours, into what fluids they drink during the race to prevent them from switching from burning glycogen and liver-based brown fat into burning white fat from the muscles. So the big science is to prevent them from switching. That's why they don't hit the wall. That's why they keep running at 4:40 pace for 4 minutes 40 seconds per mile for 26 miles back to back. Okay, Dallas, Syracuse. I'm gonna do the AI denoise on the lagoon. And then go to sleep because our sky has really clouded up. Oh yeah. Looking at astrospheric, we have lots of clouds moving in. Right now, the forecast says that Tuesday evening looks promising. If I'm done building the igloo over the weekend, we'll see if we can have a first radio signal on it sometime this week. So this is what we got. Yeah, just a bit sharper. Nice image. Hey, good for you, Matthew. Good for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wish you a happy summer, and we'll be visiting with you often. In the meantime, so long from Pompey.